Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Coming up here on October 28th, we are going to see the launch of the first season for Battlefield 6. Of course, if you know your numbers, season 1 here. And with it, we are going to see a ton of updates. They've actually already detailed the full 1.1.1.0 patch notes. We covered that in a video just the other day, detailing all of their fixes, gameplay adjustments, all the main stuff happening with season 1. Today, though, I just wanted to focus directly on the weapon updates for season 1, because throughout the season, not just on October 28th, but in the days and weeks following, we're going to see new weapons added into the game. We're going to see new attachments added into the game. And in general, season 1 is going to be introducing several new weapon specific updates that are going to have some pretty drastic, pretty significant updates on gameplay as well. So as we do dive into all the weapon update details here, if you enjoy the video, a like rating is always seriously appreciated. Much love to everyone who does take the time to do so. And if you're new to the channel, you want to make sure you are always up to date with everything going on in Battlefield, this is the place to be. So feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications, and help us get one step closer to reaching 1 million subscribers. First up here, though, I want to go through the various different phases of this season. There's 3 different phases, one in October, obviously coming up here in just a few days. We've got one in November, and then also one in December as well, all of which will be adding in new weapons to the game. So we've got a handful of weapon updates happening over the course of the next few months. The first few weapons we're going to see are the SOR 300C carbine rifle, the minifix sniper, and the GGH-22 sidearm. So first up here with the SOR 300C carbine, they describe this as being a low rate of fire, subcompact carbine chambered in the higher damage 300 blackout ammunition compared to the platform's 5.56 version. So obviously we've got the SOR available in the rifle category as well. So this is going to be the carbine version. Seems like it's going to have decent damage based off of that description there. Definitely excited to get my hands on this. We have, of course, seen some gameplay with this already from some of the creators who were able to play season 1 a bit early. And from that gameplay, it looked pretty strong, pretty consistent, obviously with that lower rate of fire, maybe a little bit less forgiving than some other guns, but still seemed like it was hitting pretty nice in that early gameplay. The minifix sniper also looks crazy good as a more aggressive sniping option that still has some pretty crazy damage. The description of the minifix reads, "Remember the Scout Elite? Then consider this lightweight bolt action sniper rifle designed for the aggressive recon soldier, a minifix to your needs." So obviously some play on the words there, but this thing again from some of the early gameplay looked very, very dominant and maybe has the chance to be that new #1 sniper across multiplayer and potentially even the battle royale as well. And then we've got the GGH-22 sidearm, a high capacity, high rate of fire, and low damage pistol meant to bail out a soldier when their primary, and in the case of assault, both of their primaries run dry. So this is going to be sort of like a pocket SMG is what the description sounds like for that. So certainly interested. That could be a nice little, like they say there, bailout option if you need a pistol that's going to be a little bit easier to use, is not going to rely as much on you just spamming with a fast rate of fire there. And then we have phase 2, which comes on November 18th. This is going to introduce some new weapons as well. The DB12 shotgun is the first feature here. This is a dual barrel pump shotgun that feeds from 2 different tubes. One trigger pull fires a shell or a slug from one barrel, a second trigger pull fires from the other, then the pump action rechambers both barrels. Seems like it could be a pretty fun shotgun to use based off of that description. And then we've got the M327 trait sidearm. This is high damage with a low rate of fire. This 8-round revolver is strong up close with a considerable damage drop off compared to its 44 Magnum comrade. So basically going to be geared as just an exclusive close range based pistol there as that sort of more aggressive option. Then for our last fully new weapon with the Winter Offensive update on December 9th, we are going to see the Ice Climbing Axe melee weapon. This one maybe not as advantageous as some of the previous ones here for a full new weapon. It is just a melee redesign, but the Ice Climbing Axe is going to become available. If you enjoy that melee style of play, you can have that as an option there. But that's not it for the new weapon updates coming with season 1. We also have attachment updates that of course will impact your overall setups for a plethora of weapons here as well. So each phase here outside of Winter Offensive, at least that we know of so far, is going to be introducing some new weapon attachments attachments here. So going back to phase 1 Rogue Ops on October 28th, we're going to have 2 new weapon attachments, the rail cover and the LPVO. So they say these are going to be available for a variety of rifles and LMGs. The rail cover and the low powered variable optic, or LPVO, are the first of several to drop after launch to make you rethink how you spend those attachment points. So the rail cover obviously going to be changing things up a little bit there, and then low powered variable optic, kind of self-explanatory with the name there. It's a variable zoom optic, so you can adjust your setups with those if you're interested, but nothing too specific as far as the descriptions go there. And then on the November 18th update with California Resistance, we're also going to see the slim hand stop. They say this is the 3rd attachment to come in season 1. This grip offers an alternative choice for underbarrel choices with its unique blend of ergonomic and handling changes. So this one seems more mobility based, maybe a bit more geared towards SMGs and close range based builds. So that is what to expect in terms of the actual new weapons themselves and new attachments themselves. Season 1, though, is also going to include several other weapon updates in the form of weapon balancing and weapon changes. And there are some pretty important updates coming here that we did cover in the general patch notes video a few days back, but just to specifically focus in on these, weapon dispersion, aka Bloom, is getting a lot of attention in Season 1. And this is going to make quite literally every weapon in the game essentially feel different than what it has felt like so far in Battlefield 6. They say weapon dispersion has been rebalanced to better match each weapon's damage profile across all ranges. Lower damage weapons will now see slightly higher increase in dispersion when firing, while higher damage weapons will experience slightly less. They're also making a big change to snipers here. Previously, you basically had to use your snipers with recon if you wanted them to be fully accurate. If you were using, an M2010 on assault, there was a chance of getting bloom with it or dispersion with it, and you miss a shot even though you are perfectly aligned and perfectly, zoomed in with your rangefinder and everything there. So they say using snipers with any class other than recon will now no longer increase weapon spread. Instead, though, you are going to be getting more weapon sway during the zoom transition, so it's going to be a bit more difficult to stay on target with that sway, but there's not going to be the random bloom or anything happening there. They're also going to go through and fix the long suppressor that was using the wrong attachment point cost on some weapons, so that won't be as expensive there. They've improved reticle settling for automatic weapons to make burst fire more efficient, so they are again really trying to reward players who consistently burst fire as the most accurate method for landing shots with any weapon in the game, really. So definitely be focused on integrating that into your gameplay for what it's worth. Also, the sledgehammer, they've balanced this so it's not going to do as much damage against world objects. They've also nerfed it against buildings. Yes, it is 2025 and we're getting sledgehammer nerfs in the video game, but it's not going to be able to take down buildings as quickly as it was pre-update here. So really all weapons are going to be impacted here with Season 1 regardless. With the new weapons coming in, that's going to add a fresh, sort of feel to a handful of gameplay scenarios and give you some fresh options. But every gun in the game is going to feel a little bit different when it comes to the reticle realignment, the bloom and the dispersion updates coming as well. So huge news there. And the overall weapons update for Season 1, quite honestly, is a lot larger than it might seem when you initially look at the general overview for the season. And of course, as time goes on, we'll have to see if they go through and adjust any actual damage values, recoil, things of that nature, specific weapon updates and balancing there that's not more globally focused on mechanics and behavior. Of course, if we see any new updates, any further information pushed out, I'll be covering all of that right here, right as it happens. So stay tuned for that alongside everything else going on in Battlefield by hitting that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, a like rating on your way out would be seriously appreciated. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.